Hello, welcome. This week I'm back to animals and, as usual, birds. This time it's a little owl. As you can see, it's a very small little owl. I've painted it in acrylics with coloured pencil on top, and the acrylics were applied with the airbrush. It's painted on Ampersand's Claybord, which is a quite expensive surface, but I'm really enjoying it. So, without to waste any more of your time, onto the video. Oh, and just before you do, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe, it really helps, thank you. First task was to mask off the whole of the silhouette with frisk film and then spray the background. After ripping off the frisk, I'm breaking up this silhouette with the fine detail of little wispy bits of feathers by scraping into the paint with a scalpel. The frisk film lifted some of the pencil line, so I was just re-establishing there, and now I'm spraying the main colour of the eyes and I'm masking with a bit more frisk the black part. So I've got some very bold eyes there. That's the last time I'll need the frisk. I've sprayed a very light coat into the dark areas of the feathers, and now I'm scratching the detail with a scalpel again. The whole process here will be spray a little bit of paint, scratch into it, then spray a little bit of paint, then scratch into it, and keep doing that until I built up to a certain level. Then I'll start putting some finer details in with coloured pencils. Scratching the curves with a scalpel is tricky. You have to exaggerate your hand movement. It takes a little bit of practice. Right, next layer with the airbrush. The original scratch lines get pushed back and fainter, which adds depth to the picture. This owl has been backlit, so all the colour in the front is kind of reflected light, and there's a kind of a yellow glow on the left side and a pinkish glow on the right. And I've started to indicate that with the airbrush. You see there, I started with the coloured pencils. Get some darker lines down in there. I had a little go with the white pencil, but there's not a lot of tooth on this, so it didn't really hold. If you look closely in the reference photo, or any reference photo, you can see lots of colours that aren't initially obvious, so really look hard and try and identify those colours and give them a slight exaggeration, and it sort of makes the painting a little more alive. Slowly building up the shape of all the feathers by putting a dark pencil around their edge. Next layer. The feet and claws are such fine detail. I'm mostly doing those just in the colour pencils. I've had time to look at the bird itself again and decided on another layer. Now the post was more complicated than the owl itself, but I'm treating it in the same way. Spray some colour, scratch out the highlights, and then go in with some colour pencil. I'm using both hands with the scalpel as all this scratching is quite tiring on the hand and on my right hand, so bracing it with my left sort of means I can just hold it with a slightly lighter grip on my right, which stops the cramp. You might have just noticed a large blue thing. That was a electric eraser which didn't actually work, so I gave up on that. Right, the scalpel scratches the highlights, the pencils puts the shadows in, and then when that's all done you can spray the midtones. And then you can't help but go over the highlights, so you just have to re-establish them, which is okay, as you don't follow the original highlights exactly. It puts extra levels in there, which is good. Getting to the final stages now, we're just sort of looking at the overall picture and seeing what needs to be done just to finish it right. And now it's the final scratching of the highlights where I want the pure white, and we're done.